Hello, our topic today is Virgo. We're going to learn practical, simple things that you can do to improve your relationship with someone who has strong Virgo. I will explain in a minute what I mean by strong Virgo. But our point here in this video is, how does Virgo operate? What is it seeking? And what can we do to have a healthy, positive, happy relationship with Virgo? And the emphasis in this presentation is on close relationships, particularly very close friends or romantic and marriage partners. So when you're in a close relationship with Virgo, for example, somebody that you're with every day, maybe in a work environment, or you're living together, sharing a room in an apartment, or whatever the situation is, when you're up close and personal with someone, things come up. And what comes up very often are the zodiac signs, because the zodiac signs show how we approach life. They show the lens through which we're seeing things. They show the priorities and perspective of the person. And these priorities that the person has, as described by the zodiac signs, have a big impact, especially on our close personal relationships. So what do I mean by strong Virgo? Rising sign is Virgo, sun sign is Virgo, moon sign is Virgo, or Venus sign is Virgo. Any four of those. Now, if you have Mars, Jupiter, or Saturn in Virgo, or Virgo operating in some other way, yes, of course Virgo is in your chart. Virgo is in every chart. But if you have Virgo in one of these four ways, rising sign, sun, moon, or Venus sign, it's fairly conspicuous, and you will see the Virgo operating clearly in the person's life. And by the way, I'm using the tropical zodiac. Let's talk a little bit about Virgo, and then we're going to talk about what you can do to improve your relationship with someone who has a lot of Virgo. Now, what we usually hear about Virgo is that it's fussy, critical. Virgos are perfectionists. They're also service-oriented, and they're helpful. Is it true? And if it's true, what can we do about it to have a healthy relationship and a positive, happy relationship with Virgo? Well, the perfectionist part is true. Fussy and critical is not always true. Let's dig into this a little bit deeper. Now, what we've done in vibrational astrology, we've done these extreme case sampling studies. We look at the people who are the super Virgos. We see what they have in common. We apply these ideas in our consultations, and we come up with very solid ideas of what the signs do. And the perfectionism part of Virgo is true. Virgo is seeking perfection. What does it mean to seek perfection? Well, first of all, anything that's broken, disorganized, or inefficient is not perfect. Perfect means there's like a divine order. It's like a heavenly world where everything is in divine order and being perfectly processed. Boy, is life on earth ever far from that. It's almost like Virgo walks around with this Garden of Eden in their heart. They have this, it's unconscious for the most part. They won't say they have a Garden of Eden in their hearts. Not usually, but they do. It's an assumption. There's something deep within them, some mythic level of their minds and hearts that has this sense that there's a perfection in life. It's not so much that Virgo is trying to change life, that they don't accept life. It's really this intuitive sense that there is a perfection there. We should be able to bring it out. We should be able to take it out of hiding and bring this perfection into our lives. So, fixing things that are broken, disorganized, or inefficient, that's one thing Virgo does. And the other thing it does is it goes to perfection. What does it mean to go to perfection? Think of anything that's elegant, refined, exquisite. You know, a beautiful chandelier, a Middle Eastern tapestry, a beautiful, exquisite, precious gem. That exquisite, beautiful geometry, the beautiful organization, it's a kind of perfection where everything is fitting together so nicely, so beautifully. This is what Virgo is looking for, where it just connects so sweetly. And Virgo actually can live with some flaws. It's not like there is, like every stitch of the Middle Eastern tapestry is perfectly stitched, but the overall effect is so overwhelmingly beautiful. This is what Virgo is looking for. So, one thing we know about Virgo, they're never in need of something to do. Our lives are filled with things that are broken, disorganized, inefficient. We have illness, we have poverty, we have crime, we have things that are broken. Obviously there's a lot to be fixed on planet Earth. Virgo always has a lot to do. There's so much that's broken or inefficient or just not functioning at a very high level, that Virgo's problem is the opposite of not finding something to do. It gets overwhelmed. So we need to have some sympathy, you could say, for Virgo. For when Virgo gets irritated and just can't take it anymore. It's because all of this disorganization becomes overwhelming. That need deep inside the soul of the person to find this beauty, this hidden beauty, this hidden perfection, it becomes a heartache to the person that it can't be found. And so this is one of the problems of Virgo, feeling overwhelmed and becoming very distraught because of all of the problems that occur. Not all Virgo people get fussy and get highly critical and get overwhelmed. We know lots that do. We know lots of people that do not. What's the difference? Why do some Virgo people become so fussy, so easily irritated? What's going on? Primarily what's going on is that Virgo gets irritated when it feels like it's not improving things. Virgo just wants to improve things. It wants to make things more perfect. If it feels that it isn't really achieving very much, really not making things clearly better, it's not fulfilling its mission. And it exhibits negative expressions like being irritable and fussy. So, if you're with a Virgo person and that person is fussy and critical, what do? Argue with them? Just get irritated back at them? No. Think of ways that this Virgo person can feel that they are making life better. What's going on in their jobs? If they're employed, if they're adults with jobs. Very often they're working in areas like healthcare. Why healthcare? Because you're fixing people. Mechanical repair, such as auto repair. Why? Because you're fixing things. Think of all of the jobs in such a wide range of areas that involve getting things into proper order, proper functioning. So there's lots of work for Virgo, many different areas. Now, if their work environment is reasonably efficient, then the person with strong Virgo is likely to feel a deep inner sense of contentment. They fix something. They improve something. It's so simple. That's all Virgo wants to do. It's very innocent and pure. They just want to improve life in concrete ways, not some abstract philosophical way. Don't try to talk Virgo into it through some philosophy. Think about how they can concretely feel that they've made things better. If they are making things better and they're overlooking it, we need to shed a light on it. But you cannot fool Virgo. It's not some game playing. It's not some psychological thing. If they're really not able to fix things, repair things, improve things, bring perfection to life in some reasonable level, they need to find a way to do it. They need to find a new job. They need to find a new environment. They need to get their voice heard. Life is not always about what's easy. That's the challenge. Find a way to do it, and the fussiness will go down. When Virgo is fussy, irritating, uh, nagging, it needs to change. And I'm showing you the way to change it. It's very clear. It's not necessarily easy. It's not necessarily an overnight fix, but that's what needs to happen. And in addition to fixing things, always keep in mind that Virgo is often involved with perfection. It goes to things that are perfect. Like I mentioned, the Middle Eastern tapestries and mosaics, the intricate music, say a Baroque music or other kinds of music, the intricate patterns and beauty of things, the snowflakes, the parts of nature that are just so exquisitely formed. Virgo often dives deep into these worlds. So you'll often find Virgo in areas like jewelry. You don't read that in a lot of the astrology books, but they will be jewelers. They'll be in other areas working with things that are so refined, exquisite, and beautifully formed. This is very fulfilling for Virgo. It's bringing out the perfection that is in life and making it manifest. Okay. So I've already mentioned this. If your Virgo friend is overly critical, realize this is an expression of exasperation from feeling that they are not making solid progress in creating the efficient and healthy, beautifully functioning environment that they seek. So in addition to what I said before about getting Virgo involved in bringing perfection to life, if their employment is in healthcare or is in repairing mechanical things, but the way the business is run, the way things are organized, does not allow the person to do the job properly and really feel that they've fixed things the way they should be fixed, they need to find a different job. They need to change the work environment. They need to do something to make that work. But also, sometimes Virgo is fixing things, is improving things, but it's getting overlooked. It starts getting overlooked by other people. People take Virgo for granted. They're the person that you take the car to and they fix it properly. And everybody says, oh, I know that Jill would do it. She's the one who will get it right. And it almost becomes like an expectation, like this is what you're made to do. But we need to give Virgo credit. We need to shine a light on it. We need to honor it. So when that Virgo person has fixed something, no matter how simple it is, things around the house that are broken and they did a little something to fix it. It's like the squeaky door and they put oil on it. Well, nobody else did. Why are they always the one to do these things? We need to honor, respect, and elevate the improving of life, the practical things that make life work better, make it work right, that bring us closer to that perfection. Sometimes the problem is that Virgo is not doing much to improve life and they're frustrated. Sometimes it's a problem where it's not being noticed. It's not being noticed by other people, and they start not noticing it themselves. And also, at the bottom of this slide, a very important point, relationships change us. If you're with a person with a lot of Virgo, you have grown into the world of that person you're with. We are not built just of our own birth charts. Our birth charts become engaged with the people around us, and we incorporate what's around us into ourselves. And if you are in a relationship with strong Virgo, you really need to enter the land of Virgo a little bit more. Start fixing things. Start improving things. Start doing the same things your Virgo friend does. Maintaining things. Change the broken, the light bulb that went out. Put some oil on the door hinge that's squeaking. Call the plumber when the faucet is leaking. Don't wait for it to become a major problem and there's water damage in the house. Little things that make life right. Straightening things up, cleaning up a little bit. It feels so good when things are in right order. It doesn't mean you have to make it your whole life, but you do need to make it a bigger part of your life. That emphasis on taking care of what needs to be taken care of. This is very important in a romantic or marriage relationship. It's the foundation for love. If you love somebody, you're there for them to do something, to take care of things, to ease their way. Virgo appreciates this so much, especially parents, husband and wife. The husband with a lot of Virgo who takes care of the kids, who goes to the soccer game, the baseball game, to watch the children, to take them home, to do these things, to do something, to play your part in making things operate beautifully, perfectly, is so important and essential before you add on the flowers and the romance and the moonlit nights you need to make things work. So, advice for someone who's in a relationship with a Virgo person, a close friend, whatever the relationship is, make sure that person is improving life, making life more perfect, that they're not so frustrated in their daily lives, that they don't feel like they're really making things right, and to shine a light on it so that they can derive the joy of that. That's the greatest joy for Virgo, that they helped a person gain their health, that they fixed their car and it's running properly, that they fixed the plumbing, that they did this. It's so essential, so important. Make sure they're doing it, shine a light on it, and you participate in that life of making things right as well. This is your gift to a person that you're with. To fully understand and appreciate somebody sometimes requires you to step outside your limitations and join in. And you will find it liberating and fulfilling to enter into this world as well. These are the critical points for life to work with Virgo. Okay, so there it is, my friends. Let me see if I have some other things here. No, that's it. Okay, so to summarize, these ideas are consistent with controlled research studies, these extreme case sampling studies, and they work beautifully with our clients. We found that the people we have trained in these ideas on zodiac signs are reporting that they are able to help their clients so much more directly, so much more in a relevant, helpful way, rather than simple characterizations like, oh, you're fussy, oh, this, oh, that, Virgo is like this. The astrology is not so much about labeling people and knowing what personality trait there is. It's knowing about the heart they have, the intent, the vision, the dream, the perspective, and the different ways that can come into manifestation. These are actually spiritual forces, this force to bring perfection into the world. It's a beautiful thing. And sometimes we dumb down astrology. We trivialize the spiritual, deep level of what is happening. So, another thing you can do is appreciate the deeper significance of what's happening, celebrate it, and support it. Thank you very much for listening, my friends. God bless. Namaste.